All right, well, hey, I am Adam Coppin. I teach music, and I teach elementary music, kindergarten through fifth grade. And one of the things I do starting with second grade is I teach them how to play the ukulele. So I'm going to go a little bit about how I teach the ukulele. I think I do it a little bit differently, and so maybe you'll get some tips and tricks that I use that'll help you. The first thing I do is I go over the 5 rules before we even get the ukuleles out. There's 5 rules. Rule number 1 is no playing while I am talking, or if and no talking while I'm talking. Because if there's 15, 20 students in there, and they all got a ukulele, and one person starts strumming mindlessly on it, just a little bit like this, and then pretty soon someone else has got permission to do that, and then it just snowballs from there. So I want to make sure everybody's got their ears on and no playing while I'm talking, and I'm pretty strict with that. So if they keep playing, then I make them hang their instrument back up, and they get to play an imaginary ukulele for the rest of the class. So that's not any fun. All right, so the rule number 2 is don't touch the tuning knobs for any reason whatsoever. I tell them that if there's 24 ukuleles hanging on the ukulele tree, and I have to tune each one of them, and they take 1 minute for each one, how many minutes does that take me to tune them all? And they're pretty quick. They say, well, that's going to take you 24 minutes to tune all of them. And I ask them if they want to play instruments that are out of tune, and they say no. And so we want to make sure that the instruments are not out of tune for the next class that comes in. Then rule number 3 is I teach them that this is the back of the instrument. We want to have the back of the instrument up against the belly at all times. We do not want this to be a lap instrument, and we don't want them to start slugging. And I tell them, even though they're sitting on the floor and the ukulele is sitting on their leg, what happens if they're playing at a concert and they don't have a lap to rest their ukulele on? They're going to have to learn how to hold it up against their belly. Also, I don't want them to hold it sideways like this so they can look down and see the frets. I know it's easier to see, but you can't play like that. So I teach them to hold it up against their bellies, like this, the back of the instrument up against your belly at all times. Rule number 4 is my instruments, my ukuleles in my class have a dolphin on them. You can get a shark, I believe, but these are all, I think it's Makala Dolphin Ukulele. They're really good. They're a solid instrument. They're not a kid's toy. This is a good instrument. And I teach them to make sure that their dolphin's head is sticking up out of the water like it just once did a trick at SeaWorld and it wants a treat. It wants you to throw it a fish. And so students a lot of times they'll do this, and I tell them just give it a flip and get it turned over right side up. Okay? And they'll say, well, what if I'm left-handed? I'm left-handed. And I said, well, these are all right-handed ukuleles, and I'll explain why we use right-handed ukuleles instead of left-handed. And to be honest with you, most of it just comes down to right-handed ukuleles are a lot easier to find. You don't have to special order them. And if you were going to learn how to play an instrument, you don't know how to play a left-handed ukulele anyway, so you might as well learn how to play on a right-handed ukulele, which are easier to find and easier to get. Plus, I tell them if you're left-handed, most of the work you're going to be doing is with your left hand. You're at an advantage over all the people who are right-handed. Okay, so that's rule number 4. Rule number 5 is treat the instruments very, very, very carefully. I don't want to see anybody balancing them on the ground. I don't want to see them dropping them. I want to see them holding them carefully. I tell them not to put them on the floor, because even if you put them on the floor, you think, well, that might be the safest place for that to be, is so you don't drop it, is on the floor. But if I'm walking around the room, I'm less likely to step on a person because I see them with my peripheral vision, and I might not see that ukulele sitting right next to that person. So next thing we do is I always get them to take their dolphin hand. I say, this is my dolphin hand. It's the one that's closest to my dolphin. And I'll tell them to get out their dolphin finger, and I'll tell them to rub underneath the dolphin's chin. And I usually do 1 of 2 jokes. I will say, if you tell the dolphin your name, it'll tell you its name if you listen carefully. And of course it doesn't. And I'll say, oh, it must not like you. And then the kids all laugh. The other thing I do is I have them rub underneath their chin, and I'll say, now say to the dolphin, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? And of course they get a big kick out of that. All right, so we're going to take our dolphin hand. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to do our seatbelt. I stole this from another YouTube video, but I like it a lot. You're going to take your dolphin hand, you're going to stick it over the instrument, you're going to grab it right here in this curve. Now this is the body of the ukulele, and I tell students that this is the body, this would be the shoulders, this would be the hips. You want to put it right here in the waist. And you want to put your 4 fingers in there, and you're going to hold it up against your body nice and tight. You're going to use this part of your arm, you're going to hold it nice and tight up against your body, and you should be able to hold it there with one hand and strum all 4 strings. Now, of course, when they strum all 4 strings, because it's more than 3 notes, that is actually a chord, and it's in the A minor 7th chord, the easiest chord to learn on the ukulele. So we got the A minor 7 there. Now, you should be able to give me a thumbs up with that while you're holding it. This will give the kids an opportunity not to rest it on their arm, not to stick it under the armpit like this. You want to have it nice and tight, holding it with their forearm and their 4 fingers up against their body. And what I'll do is I'll walk around, and if I see somebody that looks like they barely got a grip on it, and it's teetering, I'll come up and I'll just snatch it right out of their hand, and I say, I just stole your ukulele. And so I'll tell them I'm going to go shopping for ukuleles, and what I'm really doing is walking around looking for someone with a loose grip, and I can just yank it right out of their hands. Of course, one time I did it, I hit a girl in the chin. I had to apologize for that. So you want to be careful. Okay, so you want to have a nice big seatbelt. Now, important thing about a seatbelt, like in a car, you never want to take your seatbelt off when you're riding in a car. You never want to take your seatbelt off when you're playing the ukulele. And again, we don't want it sitting in their lap. We want them sitting nice and straight up against their bellies, not under their armpits, and not in their lap. This is not a lap instrument. Okay, so we got our thumbs up. We're going to put our thumb right in the back of the neck where that 2nd fret is. Each one of these spaces is called a fret. So you're going to put it right there in the back where that 2nd space is. And I have stickers on my ukulele, so I'm going to show you about that in a second. But if we're going to play a C chord, we're going to put our ring finger, and I tell the kids there's 1 finger for every fret, and every fret has a finger. Every finger has a fret, and every fret has a finger. So we're going to put the 1st fret and the first finger in the 1st fret, 2nd finger 2nd fret, 3rd finger 3rd fret, 4th finger 4th fret. Well, all I want is my 3rd finger right there. So I'm going to lift the other ones up, and I got my thumb in the back right there. I got my 3rd finger right there, and I teach the kids I want a hot dog hole. And it sounds very silly, but it's about the size of a hot dog with a hot dog bun. But you want to have your hot dog hole there so you can move your fingers around more freely. You don't want to have it sitting right here, because then your thumb's in the wrong spot and your hands are too far over and you can't move your hands up and down the neck as freely. So you want to have your thumb right back there. You want to have your hot dog hole. So you're going to put my ring finger on that 3rd fret. I got a nice big hot dog hole, and I tell the kids, what would happen if I put my hand like this? What's going to happen to my hot dog? And they say, well, it's going to get squished. Ketchup's going to go everywhere. So I tell them that the reason why I have a hot dog hole is because I get hungry when I'm playing the ukulele, and I want to have a hot dog for a snack. And that way I can put it in there when I'm playing and take it out when I'm ready to eat it. And they all get a good giggle out of there, and it's a good thing just to remember it by. So we're going to take our thumb, and we're going to strum. Now, one thing that drives me crazy is when the kids will do this with their left hand, and I'll tell them, you'll never, never, never strum with your left hand. They'll do this too. You want to strum with your dolphin thumb all the time with your dolphin thumb. Okay? Now, I have stickers on my ukulele. You can see that right there. On the 3rd fret on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, I have an orange sticker. Okay? That's going to be my C chord. If I play all 4 strings with my finger on the orange sticker, that's the C chord. Now, the next one, I tell them to give me the 2-finger peace sign. Now, I have pink stickers. I have a pink sticker on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and I have a pink sticker on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. So I'm going to put my 2-finger peace sign, 1 finger per fret. I got the 1st finger on the 1st fret, and I have the 2nd finger on the 2nd fret, and I got my hot dog hole. And I want to make sure that my fingers are straight on, not laying flat, straight on. And the one way I teach that is if my fingers on my wrist is like that, my fingers are flat. And what I tell them as students, I said, break your wrist and get it out in front of the ukulele. You're going to break your wrist like that, and your fingers go straight. So you don't want flat. You got them flat to make a dead sound. Not all 4 strings are sounding. If you got it straight on, all 4 strings will be sounded. Okay, and then if you take your pointer finger off and just leave your middle finger on that 2nd pink sticker, that's the A minor chord. So that's a very cool chord as well. Okay, And then the last one, the hardest one, you're going to take your ring finger, going to put it on the third string, because it's third finger, 1, 2, 3, third finger, third fret. And now we got two other stickers on there. We have two of them on the second fret. Your pointer finger is going to go on top, middle finger is going to go on the bottom, and then I add that ring finger right there in the third. Now, one thing I do is if you watch that Secret Life of Pets, they got that white bunny. He says, "Cry chop to your neck." And so I teach the kids, they'll give me a cookie and tell them to hold out their hand flat, give me a cookie. And then there's "cry chop to your neck," and we'll do that a couple times so they can see the difference. Now, when I'm playing the G chord, and I got my fingers like my hand flat, like give me a cookie, all my fingers have to be jammed in there nice and tight, and it makes it too hard. So I tell them to give me a karate chop to the neck, put your thumb in the back, and now instead of lining up your fingers one underneath the other one like this, you're going to be just putting them beside the other one. So I got my pointer finger, middle finger, ring finger, all lined up, and that makes it a lot easier. Still got the hot dog hole. Okay? Now, again, we talked about the stickers. We got the orange sticker on the third fret. We got the two pink stickers for the F chord. We got the blue stickers for the G chord. Now, that's only 3 chords, but the C, G, and the F chords are very, 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 very important chords for the ukulele. And so everything else is just a modulation of that. And so once you learn those 3, to be honest, the other chords are easy enough. You're going to be well on your way, and you can learn them yourselves, and they can learn them themselves as well. So that's how I teach the ukulele. Let's see if there's anything else that... so once you got that C chord, then we do the A minor, then we do the F, just going to add the pointer. We're going to take the pointer off. Then we do this ring, middle, add the pointer, take the pointer off. And that is, "I got a feeling inside my soul. It goes electric wavy when we turn it on." So it's that song that the kids all like anyways. All right, so I hope that helps. That's kind of what I do to teach the ukuleles. And again, I teach it from 2nd grade through 5th grade. I haven't dared to teach it for 1st grade and kindergarten yet, but it also gives them something to look forward to when they get older. So, all right, thank you very much.